My name's Austin Eddy. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm an artist. I mean, it was like a culmination of lots of little moments that sort of made me want to become an artist. It was like early on, it was an interest in drawing, and then going to high school, and then there, like, teachers opening my eyes to, like, art could be more than just painting still lives or whatever, and sort of like working in an expanded field. And then I guess college is where it sort of was like, oh yeah, I guess you can be an artist somewhat sustainably. You just have to figure that part out. I guess being really into like the cover of Dookie, the Green Day, like tape, the like cartoon illustrations on the cover of the tape were really like, oh, this is cool. So I started off doing a lot of like drawings of like skateboarders and people smoking cigarettes and stuff like that. Even though at that point I didn't even know what smoking was. Some of the references I'm making in my work are predominantly folk art related, and I've been looking at a lot of like Ben's quilts and Pennsylvania Dutch folk art, sort of relating to the Ellie and Louise Nodelman collection. Initially it was always very clearly paintings of scenes or things. Things became more simplified and sort of more broken into shapes and colors and more about the painting itself as opposed to the narrative. I generally like to think of the practice as pretty green. Paint tops become eyeballs on sculptures, or the paper torn off from making things smaller becomes the ground for other paintings. And coming into the studio, trying to remember to leave everything at the door when you come in sort of like really helps, like just forgetting about art history and whatever Instagram stuff, which is like insane. It's like you should feel the weight of a textbook, not a cell phone, you know? Like, but it's so odd that the internet has gotten in the way of like artistic production. The best piece of advice I've been given, which is also the most frustrating piece of advice, is the idea of just keep working. Because essentially it doesn't really point you in any direction, and it sort of forces you to figure out what it means and figure out your own path in the whole situation. And I guess that's the one piece of advice I'd pass along too.